Aloha kako, ciao tutti, hello everyone. My name is Gina Musetti. I am a master of acupuncture, which means I hold a master's degree in traditional Chinese medicine from the state of California. I'm licensed in Hawaii. I also hold a national diploma for acupuncture. And for over the past 10 years, I have been a student of Dr. and Master Zhigang Sha. I am now currently a master teacher of the Tao Academy, a master teacher and healer. And I am here today to share with you my financial blessings after receiving a financial blessing calligraphy from Dr. and Master Sha in January 29th of 2020. This has been a long time coming, and you can look back at the 21 days of financial blessing practices that I did after receiving this calligraphy if you want to also receive financial blessings. But now there is a new opportunity for us to receive what is called an NFT. So it's going to be on the blockchain. This is something that you will own. It will be your physical and digital property forever, in perpetuity, by going to the Dr. Sha website for transformative art. Okay, this is so amazing that I really put all my blessings together to bring out in a video so that people could understand the value of Dr. Master Sha's transformative art. So we'll begin back in January of 2020. I received my financial blessing calligraphy from Dr. and Master Sha, and I started doing the practice, and I started making the videos for the 21-day practice, which you can find here on my YouTube channel. After Master Sha left, shortly after that, lockdowns ensued. I had 2 vacation rental apartments, and everything was shut down. So I had no guests in either of my vacation rental apartments, and I had no way to pay the mortgage because also my clinic, I didn't shut down my clinic, but I lost a lot of my patients. A lot of my patients are elderly and they just couldn't leave their house. And a lot of people just didn't want to leave their house. You know, nobody knew what was happening. Thank goodness most of my patients are all well. Everybody's survived. However, business was very, very bad. Okay, so I have these 2 mortgages I cannot pay. I'm barely surviving at my clinic to pay my own personal mortgage. And then after about 4 months, a miracle happened. Completely, unexpectedly, out of the blue. The former owner of one of the apartments, who was holding my mortgage, gave me his equity. And that equity was worth about almost $70,000. So I was able to use that equity to allow me to tell the bank, I'm going to sell this apartment. Can you please not foreclose on me? So they did not foreclose on me, thank goodness. That's another miracle. And then I put the apartment up for sale. This is another huge miracle. That apartment sold in 4 days. Now, it took another 4 months, another 120 days to actually close. And there was a lot of work involved in it. But in the end, I walked away with a payment of $134,000. I can't barely even say it. It's such a large number to me personally. $134,000 into my bank account from the sale of this apartment that, you know, I had been working on and paying the mortgage for only 7 years. So really, $69,000 of that, almost $70,000 of that really was a gift from the previous owner. I have no idea why he did this, but I am so grateful And I'm so grateful to Master Sha for making this a possibility for me. Sorry, this is going to be really long because there are a lot of things here. Okay, so I got the apartment sold. I got $134,000 for it. Okay, now since I was able to sell the apartment, for the first time in my life, I had a chunk of cash. And there was something that I had been wanting to buy for a really long time for my future. So I'm thinking, 15 years down the road, 20 years down the road, because now that I don't have this apartment, how am I going to be making any income if I can't do acupuncture in the future? So I put my money into an investment account for myself, for my future. And it's actually only increased a little bit. But today, and it can always, it can always go up and down. It could go down to zero. But today, that $50,000 is now worth $120,000. I just looked it up before doing this video. It's a little bit over 120. It's like $374,000. So that's a profit of $70,000. Okay, this is just completely mind-blowing to me because nothing like this has ever happened to me in my life. Okay, then there was another miracle last summer. One day I get to work, I check the mailbox, and there's an envelope from a workers' compensation insurance company. So I get these letters from time to time. Basically, they're trying to sell me workers' compensation insurance. I don't have any employees right now, so I don't need to buy workers' compensation insurance. I almost didn't open it, but I'm like, okay, let me just see what they have to say. I open it, and there's a check. I'm like, what? Why are they sending me a check? What is this for? So I read the letter. It's a patient that came to me 5 years ago. 2015, one of their members of their workers, somebody who had their insurance, came to me for a workers' compensation injury. They had 10 acupuncture treatments, and now they're sending me a check for all 10 acupuncture treatments. 5 years later, I had written off that money as I'm never going to see it, at least 3 years ago, because after you keep calling, whereas, my check, this, that, whatever, eventually you just have to give up because they're just not going to pay you. There are so many insurances. I'm sorry. They won't pay you. But anyway, they paid me after 5 years. They paid me for 10 acupuncture treatments. So that was I think they gave me about $800. I think they gave me about $80 a treatment. So that was another miracle. Okay, then I really didn't think that this would work out also, but the Paycheck Protection Program was rolling out and my bank was offering an application. So I applied through my bank and I got a loan for $5,200. I also forgot. They gave me $1,000 grant. This was like after, for some reason, you couldn't get the $10,000 grant anymore. I applied for it, but it didn't exist anymore. But they did give me a loan for $5,200, which I think it will probably be forgiven. I haven't applied for the forgiveness yet, but it is likely to be forgiven. But this is really a miracle because I have a lot of student loan debt and I can never get a loan for anything, apart from a car, and I get like these really high interest loans. It's crazy. So then the next month in July of 2020, I applied for an SBA loan, a small business administration loan. That loan is only 3.25%. Which also is a miracle because, like I said, the last car loan that I had gotten a few years before that, like 2015, I think, it was at 10%. And that is because I don't have any credit, because I don't have any credit cards, and I have really high student loan debt. So I can never, like, if, for example, if I wanted to move into a different apartment, I would never get approved because I don't really have any credit. They gave me a loan for $64,000. I think it was $64,000 $6,400 to be precise. Over $64,000. So this is a huge miracle. And they told me that I would have to start paying it back in July. It's now September. They haven't requested me to start paying back yet. So again, I'm receiving more financial blessings because they haven't asked me to start repaying it yet. Okay, then in December of 2020, I tell you, this is a long video, but just stick with it, or pause, watch the rest of it later if you want to. In December of 2020, I went to my landlord because the whole year since all the shutdowns, no one had been in this building, including the building manager. So I basically did not pay my rent from March until December. And then the hotel manager came back. My office building is part of a hotel. And so the hotel manager basically wrote me a letter saying, I know that, times have been difficult, Can you work with us? Like, how much of your rent can you pay? So I did a quick calculation and I said, my business has been about 50% of what it was the year before. So can I pay you 50% for the last several months? So they said, yeah. And I was amazed. So that saved me $15,527. $15,000 in rent that I did not have to pay from 2020. So another $15,000 blessing from this Tao calligraphy that I'm tracing every day that Master Sha made for me. Okay, then the other rental apartment, which had been empty for several months, the owner of that apartment that I also had a mortgage with, that owner also spontaneously gave me all of his equity. And I think after that, I owed maybe like less than $5,000 on the apartment. I'm not sure what it was, but I just went to the bank and I wrote a check. That was $65,000 in equity that he gave me. I now own that apartment. Sort of, it's a leasehold, so that's a complicated story in Hawaii. But $110,000 apartment, it's now paid off. Okay, so another $65,000 financial blessing from tracing Master Sha's financial blessing calligraphy. Okay, then in July of 2020, I had a person who rented the apartment. Okay, another huge financial blessing. Suddenly, somebody that I know just called me and said, "Hey, is your apartment in Waikiki available?" And I said, "Yes, it is. It's empty. It's been empty for months." She said, "Oh, I would love to rent it." I said, "Okay, great." And she said, "I can only pay this amount." I said, "That's fine. Whatever you can pay, that's perfectly fine." So, because the apartment actually, I don't remember if it had gotten paid off by then. I think I was still paying more than what she was able to pay. But in any case, I had some money coming in. So anyway, she was there for, about 6 months. And then there was a really difficult situation that occurred in her life and she wasn't able to pay the rent anymore. I said, "You know what? That's okay. I'm going to put the apartment up for sale. It'll probably sell really quickly because the other apartment sold in 4 days. And so just, don't worry about it. Just keep the apartment clean. If I get people that come in to look, just make sure it's clean, da-da-da-da-da." She said, "Okay, fine, great." So after a few months, it didn't sell. I said, "Okay, well, whatever. I'm just going to keep trying to sell it." And she said, "Okay, I'm going to start looking for another place." And she also is a student of Master Sha, so she had been doing her own financial blessing practice. So what happened now as a result of all of this is, now in September, it's October now, but in September of 2021, where we are now, she got a new apartment. And she also got a great job. And she also applied for a grant to pay me for the back rent that she hasn't been able to pay since December. So I received a check from a charitable organization for $12,125. So that paid all of her back rent for all these months. I cannot emphasize enough the power and significance of Dr. and Master Sha's Tao calligraphy blessing. Please do whatever you can to, practice, turn on whatever treasures you have, or join the workshops to prepare you to purchase the NFT. Just do it. Just do it. Okay. Then, Okay. Another thing. Because my finances are always so tight. I never have any money in the bank. I never, ever, ever have any money that's mine. I get money in, I have to pay. I get money, I have to pay. I get money, I have to pay. I never have any money in the bank at all. I only have enough to pay the things that I have to pay. I don't ever have any money that I can save or put away or anything. Okay. But now, since I sold my apartment, I had some cash. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to buy a used car, because the car that I have is ridiculous. It's like almost $500 a month payment. And I hate having a car payment. My friend was able to find me a 2005 Toyota Corolla, which I absolutely love. It had been rebuilt. It only had 38,000 miles on it. And it was $4,000. I've never had $4,000 in my bank account so that I could buy a used car. Every time my car breaks down, I always have to trade it in for another, either used car at a dealership or a new car at a dealership. So anyway, I've got this pressure of always having to make a car payment. So now I have this amazing car that I totally love, $4,000. Because I now have this car that I can drive around, I was able to rent the other car that I have a debt on. And I have so far made $6,000 in profit from renting out my car. And I'm going to be able to sell that car and get rid of that debt. Okay, it's getting closer to the end and my battery's running out, so I have to hurry. Another thing was that a client who owed me money from 2016, she owed me $3,000. She's now paid it back, which that's another $3,000, totally amazing. Another story is that I had to replace the carpeting in my apartment because it's 15 years old and I need to move and I need to rent out my apartment, and the carpet is old. I can't rent it out like that. I went to go have a quote how much it would be to remove my carpeting, get new carpeting. They found that there was tile also under the carpeting, vinyl tiling. They have to remove that tiling, $10,000. I said, you know what? Forget it. I'm going to do it myself. I'm doing it myself. It's turning out beautifully, and I've saved myself $10,000. Okay. Just about the last thing is that, So I pre-ordered my NFT. I'm doing the tracing with Master Dr. Zhigang Sha, and sometimes with another master teacher, Master Francisco, whoever is leading the practice for us. And my sink in my kitchen, it has been stuck basically for about a month. The only way I can get the water to drain out is by turning on the garbage disposal. So literally every time I use the sink, I would have to turn on the garbage disposal in order for the water to drain out. And I didn't want to call the plumber because it's basically about $500 for the plumber to come and clear the drain. So I've just been living with this thinking, okay, I'll get around to it later. At first I tried putting some drain cleaners in there, but nothing worked. So suddenly the other day, after tracing our NFT tracing practice, the sink just cleared. Boom! I didn't do anything. I haven't done anything to it for weeks, and now it's just clear. Boom! $500 savings. $500 I did not have to spend. So at the end of the day, I added up all these things, the money that I didn't have to spend and the money that I made, and this has been a financial blessing of approximately $322,000. $322,000 financial blessings just from tracing Master Sha's financial blessing calligraphy. So I am so excited for the NFT that is coming up. And I wanted to say also, as my battery is running out, most precious of all is that I have been well throughout this whole time. I've never closed my clinic. I've never stopped seeing patients. I have stayed well. I have not been sick a day. I have not felt one iota of being sick. Thank goodness. Thank you to all Master Sha's blessings. And all my patients are happy that I am here. I am able to offer them service. And thank you also to everyone who's watching and everyone who also, gets referral, does private consultations with me over the phone around the world. I love you all, honor you all, and appreciate you all. I will see you again next time. Ciao for now. Aloha.